All right. So, what are your thoughts on all of this? I know that, we enjoy having our conversations in the backyard over a cup of coffee, but I'm playing with some new toys. Got a little bit of a studio setup here that I'm doing, and, I'm curious what your thoughts are on that. Do you like it? A little bit more visually appealing aesthetic, or do you prefer when we just go and have a natural conversation out in the backyard over a cup of coffee? Let me know. I was having a conversation in the KDCC Discord server. That's kind of where I've been hanging out to have my YouTube conversations and to get my fix of YouTube strategy and insight these days. I will have a link in the description of this video down below if you'd like to come and join us. We have some pretty fun conversations in there. It's a really great server. Was having a conversation earlier today about thumbnails with a gentleman who wanted some insight on their thumbnail. And it was a very good thumbnail. They did a really good job, but there was no curiosity gap in that thumbnail. And that's one of these just super important things that is absolutely necessary. It doesn't matter how great your graphic design skills are if your thumbnail doesn't pique interest. If it is solely there for the purposes of providing exposition so that the viewer can understand exactly what is going on in your video, there's no real compelling element to cause the viewer to click on that thumbnail. So the curiosity gap is kind of my buzzword of the day right now. This is the one that I'm really focusing on, is creating that gap between the information that we know in the video. We know if it's going to be, I had a fishing video playing back there. Sorry, now it's on an ad. There are things that you need to know about your video. If you're doing a fishing video, you kind of need to let it be known that this is going to be a fishing video, or where this fish is, whatever the case may be. But you don't necessarily want... We have new puppies, so they may be plowing through the camera here and there. They may be making noises. My apologies. They have been a rambunctious pair. If you're making a video about fishing, you want the audience to know that their expectations are going to be met. They want a fishing video. This is a fishing video, but you don't necessarily want to show them the end result. I don't like using a thumbnail that shows the fish that I caught. I don't want to give away the ending. I don't want the thumbnail to provide so much exposition and so much explanation that there's no need to even watch the video. So that's called the curiosity gap, where you have information, i.e. this is a fishing video, but you don't tell them the end of the story. There's a gap in between what they know and what they, want to know, and that gap is being filled by the video itself. That is the reason that they're going to click. Another trick that you can do to create some of this curiosity, puppies being puppies, because of course, the second I get on camera is the second they decide to start wrestling and making noise. Anybody interested in getting their hands on a puppy? So one of the things that traditionally I've always focused on for making a better thumbnail, including an element in the thumbnail that is different, that stands out. Dogs, seriously. The example that I like to use, and the example that I used in the conversation earlier, was imagine if I was to have this thumbnail of this awesome fish and we've got a rose in his mouth. That is something that is going to stop the scroll, right? Like somebody looking for fishing videos is gonna pause for just a moment and go, what the heck is happening? Why is there a rose in this fish's mouth? Why is there a rose in the fish's mouth? I don't know. If I'm going to use this as an element in my thumbnail, I better have a pretty good reason for doing so. And no, I can't use a rose in the fish's mouth on every single thumbnail for every single video that I make. That's going to get boring and old. But metaphorically, you need to figure out what is the rose in the fish's mouth that you are going to use just to cause the viewer to stop scrolling, to pause long enough so that they read the title, so that they are not spending their time looking at the doom scroll and looking at all of these other options. You simply want them to pause long enough so that you can try to sell them on your packaging. So that is my point for today in this very short video that we're going to do is simply to encourage you to find out what is the rose in the fish's mouth for you. Let me know in the comments of the video down there if you have any questions, if you have any thoughts as to what you could use for this. Of course, feel free to join us in that Discord server. We can have a much longer conversation about this and kind of, bring it together and see what your thoughts are on the work that you're doing. Speaking of the curiosity gap, that's not just something you can do with thumbnails. It's also something you can do by creating little micro hooks in your video, letting people know that there is a thing happening that they might get curious about, and then you let them know at the end of the video, like how we talked about puppies who are destroying things while we're trying to film. This is Blue and this is Astrid. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video or in the KDC Discord server.